So fourth and final day on the ice. Just how do you describe your week overall here?
It's been great. Learned a lot, off ice, on ice. Had some lectures, food, nutrients, stuff like that. So it's been good.
What are the tips that the coaching staff gave you throughout the week?
It's mostly been heads up, like looking all over the ice, scanning, some wall pickups, just small details, trying to work on them.
And under Coach McKee, what has he been telling you personally, and also how has he been leading the group?
It's been good. I like it. It's been kind of the same thing as we've been working on, like scanning the ice, wall pickups, just details. Nothing special like that. Just overall some details.
You've played in the SHL in the past season, but now you're with North American guys. Is there a difference when you play against the guys in this room who are your age and play a different style compared to the SHL?
I think mostly because of the smaller rink. I'd say the game is pretty similar, except the rink, as I said. So of course it's a bit different, having to adapt. Went into the board sometimes the first practices, but yeah, pretty much the same otherwise.
What's the atmosphere like on a smaller rink compared to what you're used to?
I like it. Tighter, tighter spaces, easier to close in on people, easier to play my game. So I like it.
What's it like getting cheered on by Islanders fans and watching them be so excited for your arrival here?
Yeah, it's amazing to have them here. Was a bit nervous coming out to the game yesterday, playing in front of the fans, but it felt amazing playing in front of them.
What's it like been bonding with the teammates in this room?
Amazing. All of the guys are amazing, so it's been good.
Is there one guy in particular that you got close to?
Not really. I'd say most of the guys. Didn't know many of the Swedes before, but it's easier to talk to them than the American guys. But I think I got to know everyone pretty good.
What's Victor Eklund been like to you?
He's been great. Been taking care of me, showing me around, just keeping an eye on me. So he's been great.
I heard he's a funny guy too.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Who's been your roommate this week in camp?
I've lived by myself actually, so I've had a room by myself.
And off ice, there's been a lot of bonding activities like the Yankees game and the scrimmage last night, stuff like that. What's been your favorite event of the week?
I'd say the scrimmage. I'm not a big baseball fan, so I'd say the game yesterday.
Did you get a chance to explore Long Island a bit this week?
No, not really. Haven't seen that much, except for the hotel and the way here. But we're going to play volleyball today, so I hope to see Long Beach.
And finally, as camp comes to an end, as it winds down here, what's your mindset for the rest of the off season for training and getting ready for next year?
Yeah, just keep going. Need to put on some muscles. Just keep working. Take the things I've learned here with me. Just keep working.
Is your family still here with you in New York? Is your mom and dad still here?
No, they went home after the draft.
Camp winds down here. How do you summarize your week and what did you take out of this week?
It was amazing again. Enjoyed it so much. We still have the beach day, so that's also a good part. So yeah, it was amazing. A lot of skill stuff that we can do during the summer. So yeah, I'll definitely take that with me and work on that during the summer.
What kind of specific tips has the coaching staff been giving you this week?
We did a lot of puck protection, taking the puck from the boards, using our body. So yeah, a lot of that stuff, and I've been kind of working on that during the season as well. So yeah, just continue with that.
You've been pretty familiar with the guys in this room, built a lot of friendships. For the newer guys in the 2026 draft class, especially Malte Gustafsson, what's been your impression of him so far this week?
Obviously, great player. First round pick. Haven't talked to him that much, but yeah, he seems like a good guy, and yeah, it was good to share the ice with him.
You mentioned you're going to play volleyball today, but what's been your favorite event, like off ice bonding or the scrimmage last night? That's been your favorite?
Yeah, the scrimmage was great. A lot of fans. again playing hockey. It was fun. But yeah, I'm excited for the beach now.
For sure. And even asking last year when you first came in here, how different of a player are you when you look at your past season and what you've learned?
Yeah, I learned a lot about myself. Especially it's just about being like believing in yourself and be ready every day and have a good mindset. Be full of energy every day. And I mean, we had a great trainer in Kelowna. He taught me a lot. His mindset is amazing, and so I took a lot from him and just trying to be the best version of myself every day.
How did those trainers in Kelowna help you adjust to North American hockey? Of course, it's a big difference from Finland. Just how did you what were the learning curves there for you?
Obviously smaller rink. It's a little faster, different type of hockey, but suits my game pretty good. So it wasn't that hard, and we had a great staff there. So and great teammates. So everybody helped me and made it easy for me.
Been here for a year. What's your impression of the culture here compared to back home?
It's obviously different. Food is very different. I mean, it's just I've been traveling around the world, and every culture is different. So it's just part of the process, and I'm just learning about this culture right now. So it's great.
What's been your favorite new food that you tried in the past year?
I don't think I've tried everything new that I've never tried before, but like poutine in Canada was pretty different. So no, Kelowna, BC.
You're more comfortable with the guys. Just tell me about your experience this week.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I said this a lot. These guys are really good players. It's super high competitive. It's been a great time. Everyone's getting close. Everyone's having fun. A lot of laughs, so it's been good.
How do you feel like you're a different player this year compared to when you came in last year?
I think just all around. I think there's so many things that I've tried to work on throughout the year and worked with the development guys and coaching staff throughout the years, just through video and a lot of talking. So just my defensive game, I think, has come a ways, and I think there's definitely some room to still improve in skating and all that. So honestly, I think it's just keep getting better overall. Focus on getting 1% better a day, and just put your head down and work.
A lot of different fun off-ice stuff with you guys, and even the scrimmage last night. So besides the on-ice practices, what's been your favorite so far this week?
I think what will be my favorite is the beach day today. Yeah, a lot of guys have fun at the beach, go in the ocean, we play some volleyball, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
You remember the fanfare and all the craziness last year when you were drafted in the first round coming here, and for Malte Gustafsson, right? He has the same experience. What's it been like kind of seeing him develop and get more comfortable this week?
Yeah, it's been great. He's a really good guy. We've kind of hit it off, and he likes to laugh, likes to have fun too. So we've had a lot of going back and forth, a lot of chirping, joking around. But no, he looks really good out there. Super pumped that we got him, and just excited for his future.
How would you describe his game, and of course, like as a defenseman, just what do you see from him and the asset he brings on the ice?
Yeah, obviously you see his size. That's a big thing that stands out, and he's a really good skater with all that size. That's hard to find. And then obviously in the scrimmage, he was really good defensively, really good stick, and he seems like he's a pest to play against. So he'll be a lot for some forwards to handle in years to come.
A lot of guys, and even him himself, he says he's a very reserved and shy person, but you said he's kind of laughing around. Just for you to, as an older guy, to make him feel more comfortable, what's that process like for you, like 1 year ahead?
Yeah, I think I'm just a really outgoing person, so I just try to bring that out of a lot of people, and he just obviously was our first round pick, and I kind of wanted to get to know him, and he's a great guy. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah.
Do you guys bond over being drafted in the first round?
No, not necessarily that. It's kind of you don't want to put a name on it kind of thing. You just want to be people, be one of the guys, and maybe we bond over being defensemen, and we're both buddies with Gabriel Eliasson from Sweden. So we were chirping him over here, and chirping each other there.
How do you know Gabriel? It makes sense that he knows, from Sweden. How do you know him?
Yeah, I know him. He played on my junior team on the Colts, and we were super close. I guess I love the Euros, so I don't know what's going on, but yeah, he's both of them are great people, but Malte especially, he's a perfect person, like first class, and unbelievable on the ice.
Development camp is winding down. Your thoughts on being here and a bit of a hectic, crazy week for you? Just what'd you take out of camp?
No, I think just enjoying it was the biggest thing, and just for me it was meeting a lot of new people and just trying to get to know everyone, like I said, and just kind of coming together, right? So that was the biggest thing.
The group seems to have a really tight bond. Is there one or two guys that you got closer to in particular?
No, I think I obviously I knew some guys, but I think another guy was Aitcheson. I got to know him pretty well, and got to have some good laughs out there. So it's been good.
A lot of guys say that they bond based on position, like defensemen bond with each other, forwards, goalies, etc. Do you feel bonded to the 2026 draft class in that way?
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm a guy that can kind of just get bonded to anyone, right? I feel like I'm a pretty open guy. I like to all ages. I can get pretty close to. So yeah.
What's it like getting to know Malte Gustafsson and the game he brings, and getting to know him at camp this week?
Yeah, I think just a heavy guy and just super skilled. So it's been great to just watch him and stuff like that. So it's been great.
What's his personality like as he gets more comfortable and confident every day?
Yeah, no, I think he's just more talkative and stuff like that. Just he's a guy that takes a little bit, right? But once he's kind of opened up, he starts talking more and stuff. So it's been great.
And finally, when you think about camp, what tips and tricks are you taking with you into the rest of the off season as you train for next year?
No, I think just some of the things we learned on the ice from all the coaches, just some of those more heads up and just a lot of puck play stuff. So I think just taking those stuff that we learned from the coaches and then bring it to summer. So yeah.
I know you had a small sample size of the NHL team back in April. Now you get to see the next generation, the younger guys. What were your impressions this week?
Yeah, it was a real exciting week. It was fantastic for a couple of reasons. One, I got to see the whole organization. Two, got to spend a lot of time with my coaching staff, my new coaching staff. And did a lot of planning for the upcoming season, and then we got to spend a lot of time with our American League staff too, which is new. So, it was a real good week to kind of get everyone in synergy with what we're going to do here, and really productive. It was exciting.
What kind of background do you have with Jay, and what attracted him to you?
So Jay, when I coached junior, Jay was a player. I obviously followed his career, but I coached the Kitchener Rangers in junior hockey for 7 or 8 years. Jay followed me to Kitchener. He coached Kitchener, so we have that connection. When he was there, we had a lot of mutual people that worked for me, that worked for him, that really raved about him. So. I've known him as a player, and I've known him as a coach, and followed his coaching career, and been really impressed with what he's done.
What do you like about Rocky? Obviously, you add him to your staff.
Rocky's all energy. He's a great teacher. He's a great example, first, of a guy, who was a late round pick that had to scrape and claw and scratch his way to the NHL. In an era where you had to do a lot of fighting to do that. So, he has immediate respect because of his playing career. But then when you sit down and talk to him, his passion for hockey, his passion for the X and O's of hockey, he's a really brilliant guy. And he's constantly digging in and learning and trying to be up to date on trends. I think he's a great teacher. I think he's a guy that when you sit across from him, guys are going to want to play for and execute for.
After a couple of draft free agency moves, what do you think of the way the roster's shaping up, and where are the strengths in your mind?
Well, first, I don't think we can talk about that without first saying how much Anders Lee will be missed here, and what he did and what he's meant to this organization. It's my time in the NHL, I don't think I remember a time the Islanders without Anders Lee in the lineup. So He'll be missed, but that's the NHL. I've lived that before. I was in San Jose when Joe Pavelski was in the exact same spot and went to Dallas and had career years in Dallas.
You lost Zach too, right?
Yeah, we lost Zach, and that was in his prime. So that's unfortunately the business of the NHL, and my wish is that Anders goes on and has career years in Utah and helps them, like I'm sure he will. As far as the rest of free agency, we had some great discussions about building this team. You're always constrained by your cap and your money situation, and it's always more complicated than it looks on a piece of paper. There's years of planning out. It's why I'm a coach and not an analyst or a mathematician. But I think I have a great amount of respect sitting in those meetings for Matthew and his group and the thought put into every decision we made. Sometimes, as I'm sure as a fan looking at the face of it, they're not always easy to understand, but, trust me, behind the face value of what's going on, there's a ton of thought, a ton of projection, and none of those decisions are made easily. So, I really like what we did.
I know it's one day later, but in your mind, do you have any thoughts on captain and what you want to do there?
You know what? I had not even thought about that. I was hoping we wouldn't be at this spot, so it's kind of one of those things where you don't think about it, until you have to, and I guess we'll start having to now, and that'll be something that we'll discuss going forward. But right now we've kind of put the focus on these kids this week and our group planning, and that'll be the next step on what we do there.
What do you mean of Malte Gustafsson's game this week? What you knew about him since he got drafted and what he showed this week?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I thought he came as advertised. He's a big cat, that covers a lot of ice. He's got a great disposition when you talk to him. He's mature beyond his years. And I thought in the game yesterday he got better as it went on. I thought the second period of that game, I thought you started to see, him get more confident. These rookie camps are tough. I can remember over the years, some of the best players I had didn't look great at rookie camp. So, you've got to take them with a grain of salt sometimes. But I thought Malte came as advertised. He did a great job.
Sorry to go back to Rocky for a sec. Just what role do you envision? And is he a power play guy, or if not, are you looking to add a power play coach with Bennett gone?
No, Rocky's going to be the point guy on our power play. I mean, our staff is going to work in collaboration on everything. So it won't be, just one guy. We'll discuss everything. That's kind of how I work. But he'll be the point guy on it. And he's got experience. He ran Bob Bugner's power play in San Jose. He ran Philadelphia's power play. Despite his playing career and stats, he really thinks the game from an offensive point of view and has some brilliant ideas offensively, which is great. And more important than that, he's a teacher. He really connects with the players, and so we've already started that process, planting some seeds on what we want to do in those areas. Matt Barzal was around the facilities this week. So was Palmieri. So we're starting to plant those seeds wherever we can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you had the chance to get to know guys like Palmieri, Barzal, and really get that quality time when it's not like you just come in and you have a packed schedule to really take that time with the guys?
We're trying to. This week was tough. We had a lot on our calendar. So, I get moments here and there where I can spend some time. I did get to sit with Barzy for 30, 40 minutes yesterday. I spent some time with Kyle Palmieri the other morning, just talking hockey. So, you grab those pieces where you can. This week's been, a little overwhelming. I've included a keys to a condo and a moving truck in there too at some point. So I've been stretched pretty thin.
How do you use this week? I know you just said how crazy it is. There's some guys in development camp who are on the cusp of really breaking in and becoming NHL. How do you use this week to try and get them comfortable with you?
Yeah. Well, I think you just try and be around as much as possible. But again, it's not easy, and you know, I think at these things too, you have to be careful because, you know, the guys you think are the next guy is going to be up. Sometimes, you know, it's the guy that you're not thinking about is the guy that actually shocks you and comes out the other end and ends up being a New York Islander for 10 years. So, you know, it's impossible to hit 50 kids with quality time in this. But, you know, I think what we do have here is a great staff between our coaches, the American League coaches, the development coaches that Matthew's hired here, including an old player of mine, Rod Pelly, you know, who's around. And, you know, I think these kids have got a lot of touches from NHL people over the week, whether it's me or those other guys.
So what do you make of Aitcheson?
Yeah, again, as advertised, you know, love the energy, love the physicality. You know, I don't think you see his game in this type of format. Like we all know how he wants to play. We've seen, you know, we've seen enough of the tape. So, but he's a mature kid. He looks like he's put on some size. He looks like he's ready for pro. He's excited. So we're excited to work with him.
You mentioned at the end of the year that you viewed George as a NHL defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
Darts talked about him a lot. Just camp like this, what do you think he gets out of this?
Well, first off, you know, credit to him for coming with the attitude he came with. You know, a lot of guys might have balked at coming after being a pro as long as he has and playing the number of NHL games he has, but he was all in. And not only did he come, but he embraced the experience, and I thought last night was the best player on the ice. So that was great to see. You know, that tells me he's mature, he's a pro, and I do think he's ready.
And you had Victor Eklund for one game last year. Can you see growth? You know, I know it's only a couple of months, but
Yeah.
I mean, he said he worked around the rink right after the season and he didn't stop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can you see a little bit of growth?
Yeah, you know what, I haven't looked that closely. I mean, I don't think, when you say growth, you know, you're talking actual growth?
Just say, again, he got one
Growth
game of
as a
NHL.
player?
Yeah, just
Yeah, he
little
looked
things.
he looked more comfortable on the ice. He looked more confident. You know, he was making some really nice plays with the puck. He looked like a guy that felt that, you know, he could do what he wanted out there and play his game out there. So, you know, he's got to translate that. The road's just starting for him. You know, he got a taste of the NHL last year. He's got to come to camp and have a great camp and then, you know, see where that development path takes him.
Going back to George for a second, he was saying before he's really excited to play in your system. Where do you see him developing and growing his game for you?
Well, you know, we're going to skate. You know, our system's based around skating and closing on people, and you know, your defensemen, you know, in that type of system have to be able to move. And his best asset are his feet and his speed and his ability to support the rush and get back on pucks and make breakout plays. So, you know, I think it fits with his toolbox, and yeah, I'm excited to work with him. You know, we had him at the end there for a couple games, but he's done it the right way. You know, he came up as a prospect. He paid his dues. He played some games. He went back down again. He didn't pout about it, and now, you know, he looks like he's knocking on the door to be a full-time NHLer for a long time.
Just want to ask you about, we asked Darts about Duclair, and obviously he's had a couple of years, but where do you see him kind of fitting? You talk about speed, and that's kind of his game.
Well, Duke's got to come to camp. You know, the one thing we're going to have, when a new coach comes in, everybody gets a fresh slate. You know, and my goal is, like it was in the last 4 games, to try and give everyone a fair opportunity as much as we can without, you know, costing us hockey games to show what they can do. So, you know, and then it's on them to make the most of those opportunities. I've seen the best of Duclair, you know, when he was in Florida putting up, you know, almost 60 points. You know, I've also seen, you know, the other seasons where he hasn't. So, you know, he's got to come with his best game and bring it to the rink every day. And if he does that, you know, every coach is looking for size, speed, and skill.
How different structurally, going from 6 to 4 preseason games, does that make your job and the way you structure the training camp sessions before getting to preseason, how does that kind of upend things a little bit?
Well, everything's shorter. You have less practice days for training camp. You have less time runway between the end of training camp and your first game in order to add to practices. I think where it's going to affect guys is probably more the depth, getting a real view of the depth players of your lineup, the guys that you used to want to make sure got in a game or two for the experience because they deserved it. Some of those guys are going to get shortchanged this year because of the shortened schedule, but I don't think it affects our NHL preparation. I think we condense it a little bit, and unfortunately there's going to be some casualties to that. You're not going to see all the guys that maybe you typically would have seen in games in the past.
Do you want to then see the young guys a little bit more in that shortened runway?
Well, there's going to be some young guys we have to see. Yeah. So I think veterans are with 100 games are limited to 2 of the 4 games. So there are going to be opportunities for some of the key young guys to really, even though it's a short period, to try and make a case for them to stay.
When you got here, you moved Barzal back to center, and you said that kind of speed you want at the center there. Obviously, you have Richie as well, Pajot re-signed, Shen. You got a lot of centers. Have you decided or any in your idea of how you want your centers to look?
Yeah.
Like, is Barzal a center for you?
For me, he is. I like that speed down the middle. If you look at the teams, that were standing at the end of the year, there was a lot of speed through the middle of the ice. Carolina, Aho, Stankoven, Stahl still got up and down the sheet for a big man. In Vegas, it was Eichel and Carlson. I think that's critical. Now you're never married to anything. I think Barzy wants to play center. I think he's excited about it. He's embracing it, and I think that makes us a better team if he's there. But it's got to work too. And
on the flip side to that, a guy like Richie, obviously I think he's viewed as a center. But what's the balance in wanting to develop him as a center, but also if he's going to play wing, developing him there?
Yeah. Well, I think in our system everybody's interchangeable. So your traditional, it's not a traditional system where your center is playing the center position all over the ice. We're interchangeable. That allows us to put pressure on the puck. So Richie's going to end up in that center spot in all kinds of different situations as a winger, just like Schenner will. I think they're all going to get lots of reps as a centerman. They might not be lining up taking the draw, but the way we play interchangeably, they're going to be playing center position. And Richie, I see him as a long-term centerman here too. But he's just getting started, and it's not an easy position to play on a regular shift as a young player in this league.
On the right side, a possibility for you?
You know what? I don't know. Young defensemen, unless they've played it in the past, or unless they're special, like I think Schaefer's an option on the right side. I think with George, I'd probably want to keep him in his comfortable spot. I think because of his feet, he probably has the ability long term to be there, but I don't think off the start.